Good afternoon and welcome to another Up and Running Pod Short. I'm here with Mason Hare sporting his San Francisco 49ers Christian McCaffrey jersey. We got the game on the TV, KC and Baltimore. Just going to go over a little football today, give a rundown of the late game, San Francisco versus Detroit. Watching for some highlights here at Baltimore and KC. How you doing today, Mason?
Good. It's been a great day. Can't wait for the game tonight.
Yeah, I bet you can't. So looking at the game, it looks like the weather won't be a detail tonight, a problem they have to worry with. It is be around 65, 70 degrees and clear. Should be an offensive showdown.
Yeah, I agree. It all depends on how the defenses are on our side and their side. Defense should be good for us. We have no injuries on defense right now.
Yeah, that is something to look at. We took some notes earlier. Got some things here. Last week, as you know, the Niners escaped Green Bay and really did a great job of finishing there at the end. The last drive by Brock Purdy was absolutely phenomenal. Just drove down the field, punched him right in the throat. And Jared Goff and the guys, they got it going in the second quarter, or the second half, excuse me, and finished. We're ahead by a little bit. Tampa Bay tried to coaching mistakes we covered in the episode this week. But moving forward here, Jared Goff is 30-12, touchdown to interception ratio. Brock Purdy is 31-11, so about the same. Goff has some more yards. What do you think defensively y'all can do to really get after him today on the front line?
I think we could play more like to stop their pass. Because I don't think they've been running the ball lately, especially in the playoffs when you have to drive, unless they're up by a lot and they need to run the clock out. But it all depends on what they're doing and how much passing they're throwing.
Right. So I know one of the things that I look at and I'm excited about today is you get to see Bosa versus Hutchinson. Hutchinson is a Detroit boy playing for the Lions, and we're super excited to see them two on the same side of the ball but different teams and what they can do. Hutchinson's got to go up against McKivitz for the Niners, who's a promising tackle. What do you think Bosa can do on his side of the ball? He's going up against Sewell for the Lions. What do you think he's going to have a big game? How do you see him factoring into this game today?
He's one of the best defensive ends in the league. I think he's a lot better than their offensive tackle, and I think he's stronger and has more drive in him than their offensive tackle.
Yeah, so Bosa's really, really good, and it doesn't matter what tackle they put up against him from any team. He's going to have a day, and he's going to do things that you don't see. He goes against one of the best in practice, so you'd expect that from him. You said y'all had a couple guys out. Was that defense or offense?
We don't have anybody.
Oh, y'all don't have anybody. So Detroit has a few guys out.
Yeah, they have two guys out.
Speaking of injuries, you had Debo just got cleared today to play, so that's going to make a huge difference on offense for you guys. Explain to our listeners how that affects Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Ayuk, with Debo coming back.
They probably will they'll spread the ball out more, so they won't get the ball as much as they did probably last game. But it all depends because I feel like they're all really good and they could all have a great day. It all depends on how good they are and how well they're playing that day.
Right. One of the big things for when the Niners lost Debo last week is the kind of offense kind of just took a really big break. It stopped being functional until that last drive. Do you think he makes that much of an impact in the game, or that just having that fourth weapon there that can absolutely be explosive at any point of the game is what the difference is?
I think it's not. Debo is good, but just because he leaves the game doesn't mean we should have done what we did. We should have kept driving because before that we were doing great. We had no problems. But it's all how if he gets injured again today, they should not react like that. It's a playoffs, and if we have three weapons, three is enough. They don't have more than us.
Right. So completely understand that. Excited to have Debo back. It definitely allows the Niners to expose Detroit's defense a little bit. On the other side of the ball, for Detroit, they have Hutchinson. He's going against McKivitz on the right side. I mean, he's had a great year. He came from Michigan, lived there. His dad played for the Lions. What do you think he's going to do? How are y'all going to stop him and the rest of Detroit's defense with their grit from completely shutting your four weapons down?
If they're not going to be able to shut all four of them down. They don't have enough players on the field to shut McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle, and Ayuk down, and that's just like the big factors. We have Purdy. Purdy can run if he has to. He's not just a sit there and wait for y'all to get open quarterback. He can scramble. He can do a lot of things.
Okay. The other two on the offensive side of the ball, we talked about the weapons you have. Brock Purdy has more weapons than most quarterbacks have. They're all explosive. They all can make plays. The two big ones, CMC and Debo, that twosome right there versus David Montgomery and Gibbs for Detroit. Gibbs is an Alabama boy. They've both had good seasons, with Gibbs being kind of like a Debo, an explosive, use him at different times, and Montgomery being the three-down back, really running most of the downs and then bringing in Debo when they need to. David Montgomery was that too. They'd bring Gibbs in maybe on third downs here. Used him more. He's been explosive the last couple of weeks. What would you say is if you could give me one Christian McCaffrey strength, like his number one strength, and one of Debo's strongest pieces there?
McCaffrey's biggest strength is his drive. Like, he can break tackles. He can just run through the defensive line when he has to. And Debo, I think just the way he moves and catches the ball. He makes a lot of great catches every year, and he's also got great speed.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you right there. And now let's talk about the passing game, because this is a big one. Brock Purdy's got weapons. He is consistent. He doesn't make mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over. He started this playoffs 102 passes and no picks. A lot of people call him a game manager. They don't call him an all-star quarterback. He doesn't deserve the MVP. He's not even the MVP on his own team. What do you say to the detractors of Brock Purdy? What do you think about Brock Purdy?
A lot of people think since he's surrounded by so many great players, he's not all that because he has all these weapons that he can just go to. But I think he's good in his own way because he has strong passes. If he didn't have strong passes, it wouldn't matter how many weapons he has, except for McCaffrey because he runs the ball. But he can also catch too. But I just think Purdy is good, and his last bad game, in my opinion, was against Baltimore. He had 4 picks. Not all of them were his fault, or 5 actually. Not all of them were his fault, but a couple of them were. And if he just eliminates those picks, I think he'll have a great day.
Yeah. Like I said, he's in the playoffs. He has no picks, 102 passes. Just absolutely wonderful. So you're hoping that he doesn't have that game where he just gives up multiple picks. Understandable. One thing I want to touch on, the last thing I want to touch on, kind of a wild card here. We didn't prep you on this one. What would you say to San Francisco before the game starts today? If you're Kyle Shanahan and you're in that locker room, what are you telling the guys before they go out here for essentially it is their 4th time in the NFC Championship game, and they haven't been able to get over the hump in the Super Bowl. What do you say to them as far as, hey, finish this and then let's go finish the season the right way? What is your motivation for today?
I would just tell them it's 60 minutes, lock in for 60 minutes, and just step 1 and step 2. We got 2 games left. If we win this, we got step 2, and you make a lot of money in a Super Bowl ring. But I would get Fred Warner. I went to a game and he was hyping him up, and I see it all the time on social media, and that he's hyping the team up. I would let him direct him after I would talk to him.
Okay. So we'll get back to that game in a minute. As we said, it's the end of the first quarter in the Baltimore-Kansas City game right now, and you'll be seeing this a little bit later. So anyway, in the Baltimore-Kansas City game, just wanted to touch a few things here. Mason, can you ever count out Patrick Mahomes?
No, he's a great all-around quarterback. I think he's the closest thing we have to Tom Brady. and he's just like great. I don't like him because he beat us in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I can't say he's bad because he's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've seen in my lifetime.
What about as far as Kelsey goes? Do you think Kelsey has a big game today? We know he scored a touchdown just a minute ago, but do you think he provides what Mahomes needs when Mahomes gets in trouble? Through one quarter at 7-7, do you think he is still as great as he is? We know he's scoring, he's doing stuff in the playoffs, but do you think he's still bringing that firepower that he brought the last few years, or is he slowing down a little bit?
He's slowing down a little bit, but I still think he's the greatest, best tight end in the league right now. Even though Kittle's on my team, I think he's the second best. But Kittle and Travis Kelce have a lot in common. I think just Kelce is more explosive and stronger and better in the playoffs. And he has slowed down a little bit, but he is getting touchdowns and can get open when he needs to be for Patrick.
Gotcha. All right, so we talked about Kansas City and Mahomes and Kelce, but what do you think about the other receivers? Can they get rid of their drop problems that they had in the regular season? Do you think they'll come to bite them back? They were good last week, but this week, just a possible, playing a little bit cold weather here with the rain coming down, slippery. What do you think is their drop probability today?
He didn't have the receivers he did a few years ago, and I feel like he doesn't have the receiver. He won't have the receivers that he had a couple years ago ever again. But Kelce is going to be the main factor in this game, and the receivers are just going to have to deal with it and not get the ball as much.
All right. So just go concentrate on Kelce. And do you think it's possible that Lamar gets over the hump this year and takes the Baltimore Ravens to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks?
He could, but I still think he's going to have a slow start in one of the quarters. Doesn't matter which one. I just think he's going to start off slow and not be able to score in one of the 3 quarters left.
All right. Well, we talked earlier in the San Francisco game, got you to give a little pregame speech. What's something you're going to live on today? Like, what's something when they score a touchdown or they make a big defensive play, what's going to be your go-to phrase today?
Let's go. Probably, because that's the only thing I probably think of. It'll just be whatever's off the top of my head.
And you're going to say it like that? Let's go.
No.
How you going to say it, man? Give us a good. Come on, give us a good let's go.
No.
All right, guys. Well, I'll videotape it. It'll be posted on our Twitter account. You can catch us at Up and Running Pod on X. This has been Mason Hare. We have had a good time today. We're going to kick back and watch the second, third, and fourth quarters of the game, and might have a little after-game summary when it's all over with them. We'll see you on Thursday morning. You can catch the Up and Running Pod on Spotify, Apple, X, wherever you get your podcast at. Go find us. Go give us a like and a follow, and we'll see you later on. Go Niners.